Hi and welcome. My name is Joshua from TAG, and this video is the third part of the video series on creating variables in R. So we would continue from where we stopped in the previous video, which is the second part on the concept of data and variable. So we move straight into the practical section and to do something very interesting again. So this was where we stopped in the last video, so I'm going to clear everything I have here and leave the variables we have created initially on the global environment. I would also clear the console to have a clean console. So one of the things we will do in this part of the video is the convention we established in the first video on the rules guiding variable creation, how you could write a variable name in R. We said you could use letter, you could use numbers, and again you can use the underscore, underline, and also you can use the dot. But when you are using the dot, ensure that it is not followed by a number, and when you use the dot, you can use an alphabet after it. And we established that when you are starting a variable with dot, such variable are called hidden variable. So they will be missing and they will be hidden on the global environment. So let's just take an example to add to what we have here. So I'm going to create a variable and call it age2, .age2. So dot must not be followed by a number. If you are creating a variable that begins with dot, it must be followed by a number, a letter. So dot age2, and then let's get familiar with this assignment operator, just holding Alt and the hyphen button. So dot age2, and it's just for practice, and I said numbers ranging from 1 to 5, and then Control plus Enter to run this line of code. And so on my console, it shows me that R is ready for another command and there is no error. But if you look at the global environment as against the way it used to do when we have the result, the name of the variable already stored in the global environment, you would see that that is missing and it's not available on the global environment. So we would learn how to view all the variables we have on our global environment, including those that are missing. So how do we do that? Thank God for the advent of RStudio. If we were using the base R, we wouldn't have been able to see the names of variables that we have currently on our R section. We would only be seeing that on our editor pane. So to do this, to find all the variables you have loaded, use the ls function. You open the bracket and RStudio helps you to close the bracket. So if I run this, so it tells me the names of variables I have currently in my global environment, yet the .age2 is still not there, it's still hidden. So how do you print out variables of this manner that are hidden? So it's still going to be the same ls, but there is an argument you are going to include inside this function, and the argument is all.names. So while I'm writing all, RStudio helps me out. So in the case when I'm not good with spelling, I have no issue with RStudio. Error is minimized as against the base R. So all.names, and then I include a logical argument true. You can write it in full or you can leave it this way. So when I run this, then it reveals .age2, the hidden document, the hidden variable I mean, and then the .random.seed, which we would still see more in subsequent videos. So one other thing again is, let's take for instance, I create a new variable again and I call it score2. Let's say this score is for the second test, and I said it's from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 5 to 9, and then I run it, and then I have score 2. So let's say, for instance, I am creating a new variable and I don't have access to see the variables I have, and I want to be sure that I am not creating a variable that is already existing. So I want to create a variable that goes with score. So I want to see the patterns of the existing variables I've created that looks like score. So I'll still use this ls, and then I'll say pattern. So this helped me out. This is one of the beauty. And then I won't even need to write it in full. I can just say SCO instead of writing score in full. You just put like 2 or 3, and then if I run this, it tells me that variables that follow that particular pattern are just 2, the score and score 2. So finally, on this part of this video, we are going to learn how to remove variable, in R. So take, for instance, I want to remove the .age2 that we created as an example. So I will just use this rm function, and then I open my bracket, and then I will say .age2. So I run this, so it is removed. You won't see the effect on the global environment because it is hidden. But if we run that ls all.names again to be true, you would see that it is no longer there again. So you can also remove by writing it in full. It's also from the base package. So we can compare. We'll compare the difference between remove in full and ROM, maybe in subsequent videos. So when you say remove, I'm removing score 2 because I just created that to give us an example of how we can find variables based on their patterns in R. So score 2, and then control plus enter. So when you look at the global environment, score 2 is completely deleted, and we are back to the 3 variables we have on the global environment. So before I call it a day on this part of the video and prepare our mind towards the bonus on this series around creating variables in R, I quickly want to do a few things on how I can combine values together, values created with the vector function to form a data, and then you will see this. So I'm just preparing our mind ahead of some things we would see on vector and then matrix. So just like a result, let's say this is a result, and then I'm storing the entire thing in a result, and then I say cbind. So this is a function we still learn more. It's from the base package, and what it does is it column bind, and the argument that it takes are variables, and a lot of arguments which we can see from by pressing question mark, and then we say cbind. So it brings, when you run this, it brings documentations that you can read at the level of help over here. So but this cbind means we want to column bind. I'm starting with st underscore names, and then I separate it with comma. I want to see their age, comma, and then I want to see their score as the last column in the table. So if I run this result is now created on the global environment as data, not as values. And so I want us to pay attention to these two things when you see them now. There is a difference between values and data. This combination of values gives us data. So in a data, we have several values inside it. So when we mean values, we mean variables inside a data. So I'll stop at this point, and I want to say a big thank you for your time and the love you've shown to my channel. I want to encourage you to keep watching, and if you are yet to subscribe, you can just hit the subscribe button and do well to share with your friend. Thank you very much once again. God bless you. Bye bye.